Call of the Night was an anime that I knew nothing about going into it. I only found out about it because I would be scrolling through my Instagram and I would see photos of the main character Nazuna. I just fell in love with her design when I first saw it, and I wanted to know more about her just because I couldn't tell just based off of the screenshots that I was looking at what the anime was going to be about. When I first found it and I saw the tag romance, I kind of had a general idea of where it would go, but I really didn't know. I was immediately invested, and once I had caught up on the show, I had to catch up on the manga. The story's about a middle schooler named Ko who, after feeling jaded with school life, decides to sneak out at night. It's while he's out that he runs into a mysterious girl who shows him around the nightlife and then later invites him over to her place. She invites him to sleep in her bed for a while, and after Ko pretends to fall asleep, Nazuna goes in to suck his blood, and it's discovered that she's a vampire. After Ko finds out that Nazuna is actually a vampire, he asks why he himself didn't turn into one after she sucked his blood. Nazuna tells Ko because in order to become a vampire, the person getting their blood sucked has to fall in love with the vampire, and then they can become their offspring. Nazuna expresses that she has no interest in creating offspring, and only sucks blood as a form of feeding. However, after spending the night with Nazuna, Ko decides that he's ready to leave his old life behind, and instead start a new life as a vampire. And so he makes it his mission to fall in love with Nazuna. And so the rest of the story revolves around Ko's journey to discover what it means to be in love. Now, I've been on kind of a romance anime streak lately, and I was really happy to stumble across this one. Premise-wise, it's already 99% more interesting than any other romance anime just because he's not in a school setting. A big part of the show is Ko experiencing new emotions that he had no previous experiences with. And the night setting really fits this thematically because Ko is stepping out into the adult world and trying to figure out what he's been missing out on. Early on, we're shown a scene of Ko rejecting a girl that confesses her love to him because he feels that he has no idea of what romance is. And I think this kind of motivation really helps separate this anime from other ones because his motivation isn't in just purely feeling romantic feelings for Nazuna initially. Instead, he's stepping into all these uncomfortable situations to learn about himself. Ko isn't a pitiful character, and I think that makes him really great in the romance genre. Most of the early show is just Ko and Nazuna kind of first getting along together, and I think that the atmosphere that the show creates makes it really enjoyable to just see the two interacting with each other. Because again, initially neither Ko nor Nazuna are actually romantically invested in each other. Their reasons for hanging out together, although are inherently selfish, doesn't stop them from having a nice chemistry together. The show will have a lot of scenes like them just hanging out playing video games together, which gives the anime a very warm and friendly atmosphere. Once they started introducing side characters, I was initially hesitant because some of the romance animes I'd seen before were easily hindered by side characters that start steering the story in unwanted directions. However, I was pleasantly surprised to find that each side character in this show serves a strong purpose and helps to flesh out Ko's journey really well. Although I was happy early on in the show just watching Ko and Nazuna get along, the show starts taking a lot of serious decisions as it starts exploring the world and rules of vampires. I think this makes the show a really unique experience because it starts setting up all these different situations that we want to see play out, and not necessarily just see Ko discover romantic feelings for himself. Aside from the directions that the show takes with its story to make itself unique, I think visually it's also one of the most unique animes that I've seen. Even though the setting is in the nighttime and it's supposed to be dark, the show is full of color and style. The manga was beautifully adapted and the show does a great job of paying homage to the original work while still developing its own quirks. The backgrounds are some of my favorite in any anime because even though they're everyday settings like a city street or an apartment building, the vibrant use of color creates a unique and fun atmosphere for Ko's story. I think what makes this anime special was that it was able to invoke a feeling in me that I hadn't considered wanting to feel, especially in a romance anime. It's easy to want to root for two characters to fall in love because it's inherently something that's human. But Ko's motivation of wanting to fall in love with Nazuna for the sake of becoming a vampire opens up so much possibility for the show to go in, and I think it takes advantage of that really well. It makes the moments between Ko and Nazuna becoming closer together that much more special. Ko doesn't simply need to muster up the courage to confess his love to Nazuna, but instead he has to figure out why he would want to do something like that in the first place. And when he's finally able to make those types of discoveries in himself, we see that change in his character and as an audience feel proud of him. Overall, the show takes advantage of its own quirks to evoke unique and beautiful feelings that I didn't think I needed, and it does so with fun and lovable characters that wouldn't be able to exist in other romance animes. I would definitely recommend this anime as something that's heartwarming and doesn't need to rely on common tropes. Call it a night. Great anime.